Hey, welcome. So today, we're not hitting the gym for our bodies, but for our conversational muscles. We're going to walk through a really simple but powerful workout plan that's all about building the confidence you need to start any conversation anytime. So let's get right into it.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to diagnose the problem, which we're calling the conversational cold start. Then, we'll jump into 3 challenges, each one building on the last, kind of like progressive sets at the gym. And we'll wrap up by talking about how to track your progress and, honestly, the courageous mindset that really fuels this whole thing.
All right, first things first. Let's put a name to that feeling. You know, that frozen moment of hesitation right before you reach out to someone? We're calling that the conversational cold start.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You've got the number dialed, your thumb is just hovering over the call button, but it's like there's this invisible wall holding you back. That split second of friction is exactly what we're going to train ourselves to push right through.
So, how do we actually break through that wall? We do it with something called speaking reps. And just like lifting weights, these are short, they're structured, and they're repeatable. Now, here's the most important part. The goal is not to have a perfect conversation. The goal is simply to do the rep. That's it. Every single rep you do just makes the next one that much easier.
Okay, it's time for our first exercise. Think of this as your warm-up set. It's super quick, it's low stakes, and it really only has one purpose: to break that initial inertia.
The task here is ridiculously simple. Call a store and ask if they have something in stock. You've got a script, you can do it right from your couch. But look at the goal. The goal isn't even about getting the info. It's about facing that initial bridge. The second you make that call, that's a 100% win for this rep. You're done.
Okay, so once you've done a few of those quick reps, it's time to level up just a little bit. Challenge number 2 builds directly on that foundation. We're not just starting the conversation anymore, we're practicing staying in it for just a moment longer. So this rep is a little longer, maybe 2 to 5 minutes. You're calling a place like a local pet shelter about volunteering. The script to get you started is right there. But notice how the goal has changed. It's not just about starting the call, it's about listening to their answer and then adding one more piece to the puzzle. And this is the new muscle we're building. After they give you their answer, your only job is to ask one simple, clarifying question. Something like, is there a minimum time commitment, or do I need any special training? This little step trains you to stay engaged, to actually listen, and to just keep the conversation going for one more turn.
All right, you've warmed up, you've done your foundational sets. Now it is time for the main event. We are taking this workout off the phone and into the real world. This is the in-person rep, and it's where all that practice really starts to shine. For this rep, you're going to go to a place like a travel agency or maybe a bank and just talk about a potential future project. And that framing is so important. It takes all the pressure off. You're just starting your research. Your only goal here is to have a sustained, face-to-face interaction for 5 minutes or so.
Now, your mindset for this challenge is absolutely everything. The goal is to finish the interaction. That's it. It is not to be perfect or clever or super smooth. And if you stumble or stutter a bit, the goal is to just let it happen and keep going, not to hide it or panic. Just completing the rep, that is the victory.
And to help you get across that finish line, you've got some tools. Think of these like your spotter at the gym. If you trip over a word, it is totally fine to just correct yourself and say it again. No big deal. If you feel that tension building up, just take a deliberate pause, take a breath, regroup. These aren't signs of failure, they are strategies for success.
So, after any good workout, you have the cool down and reflection. And believe me, this part is just as important as the reps themselves. Taking a second to reflect really solidifies what you've just accomplished and helps you actually see your own progress.
So after you do a rep, just ask yourself these 3 simple questions. First, did I initiate? If the answer is yes, that is a win, period. Second, did I stay in the moment, even if I stumbled a bit? This one is all about building resilience. And third, how do I feel now that it's over? You know, a lot of the time, you're going to feel relief, maybe even pride. And recognizing that positive feeling is so powerful.
And this brings us to the real heart of this entire practice. These speaking reps, they're not just about making phone calls or talking to strangers. They are a practical, hands-on way to redefine what it means to be courageous in our everyday lives.
I absolutely love this quote. Courage isn't about never feeling that hesitation or that anxiety. It's about deciding that your goal, whether that's connecting with someone or just proving to yourself that you can do it, is more important than that fear. Every simple rep is a small act of courage.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Forget the big picture for a minute.
Looking at the workout plan we just walked through, what's one small, totally manageable rep you can commit to doing today? Because progress isn't made in one giant leap. It's made one rep at a time.